I'm Dr. Brent Hulsebus, chiropractor, coming at you today with another edition of our podcast here called Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is for when somebody has a question about chiropractic, I employ them to send me a message or an email or come in person and ask me the question. I've always felt that if you have a question about chiropractic, you should talk to a chiropractor. A lot of people are told to check with their family physician before they talk to a chiropractor. I just want to let you know the family physician doesn't understand what chiropractors do or don't do. So when you have a question or a concern about chiropractic, ask a chiropractor. Same way if you had a question about your teeth, you would ask a dentist. You wouldn't ask a podiatrist, for example. So today the question came about a breech baby. Patient came in, told me their baby's breeched, meaning the baby is upside down. When a baby is typically born, babies come out head first, not feet first. When the baby is breeched, this means when they look at the baby is sitting the wrong way, upside down, and they're going to come out feet first if they should come out that moment. Now, first of all, I've had parents come in and tell me their baby's breeched at 20 weeks. At 20 weeks, it's not really much of a concern. When we get to around week 34, 35, we get a lot more concerned about this because we want to make sure the baby's in the right birthing position to give the baby the best opportunity. So they come to a chiropractor and say, I have a breeched baby, what can I do? Well, chiropractors, we have an adjustment for this called the Webster technique, W-E-B-S-T-E-R, the Webster technique, just like the Webster dictionary. And Larry Webster is the one that came up with this, and it's an adjustment to mom, not to the baby. A lot of people are concerned that when they hear the chiropractor can flip the breeched baby, they're thinking that we might grab a hold of the baby in the womb and try to move the baby around inside the womb. That's not at all what we do. There's no contact at all with the baby in the womb. What we want to do is we want to adjust mom. And by adjusting mom and getting mom healthier and better, then the baby can slide into the correct position. Now, how do we do this? Well, the Webster technique has 6 steps to it, 5 of them which are commonly used and 1 that's rarely used. So let's break it down and talk about what each step is and why we do it. The first step in the Webster technique is to look at mom's tailbone. So we'll lay mom face down on a table that's designed for her being pregnant. We accommodate our adjusting tables to make room for the little baby we haven't met yet. So what we'll do is we'll lay mom down, and through a series of leg checks, bending mom's knee and doing a couple of pelvic checks, we can see which way mom's sacrum or tailbone's gone. Then we do a light adjustment on that, where the table makes a loud popping noise, but mom will not make a loud popping noise. You hear the table go click, click, click 3 quick times. And what that does, it helps release the sacrum. Now the sacrum has the nerves that come out of it that are the opposite to the fight and flight. Everyone's heard of fight and flight. You're in danger, you're under stress, fight and flight takes over. But we have an opposite nervous system also called the parasympathetics. Your parasympathetics are what I jokingly call your chill out nerves. And I've always said everywhere belly button down comes from your sacrum. So when you're pregnant, that's talking about belly button down. Or when you're pregnant, belly button out. But belly button down would be the sacrum. So we adjust mom's sacrum. The idea there is, if mom's in a state of stress or fight and flight, when we adjust her, we help turn that down. Now, the Agulla studies have proven this. If you want to challenge me on that, you can. I'll put a link to those below, the Agulla studies. But the Agulla studies show that when you adjust mom's tailbone, what happens is mom goes into a state of ease and leaves a state of stress. Now, if you can eliminate the stress, then the baby's more ready to be born. Mom's more ready to give birth, and that right there could be enough to get the baby back into position. The next thing we do is a muscle called the piriformis. The piriformis goes from the sacrum to the hip. If you have a very tight piriformis, it can physically push the sacrum up against the womb and not giving the womb enough room to let the baby physically move. So a lot of the Webster technique is designed around just creating more room or more space. So what we'll do is we'll adjust mom's tailbone, and then the next thing we'll do is with a piriformis stimulation. And what we do is we just kind of brush against the piriformis muscle so we can feel the piriformis muscles being tight or angry. Step 3, while mom's still in this face down position, is that we'll look for the ligament that goes from your sacrum to your hip where you sit on it. So what we'll do is we'll palpate that out with our finger, we'll find it, we'll ask mom to cough. When mom coughs, this ligament will move, and that's the way we know we're at the right place. From there, we'll apply a trigger point pressure to get this ligament to relax. Just like the piriformis muscle, if this ligament is tight or irritated, it can physically cause the area from the hip, the tailbone, the sacrum to the hip to contract and literally get in the way for the baby to have enough room to flip over and get in the right position. So we'll do a trigger point on these two ligaments. Sometimes these ligaments are fine, it'll be like 3 seconds. Other times we might find it really irritated in one of these, and we'll apply a steady pressure on there until it releases. Now from this point, we're done with mom in the face down position, so we'll bring the table up and have mom flip over to her back. Now once mom flips over to her back, we'll lay her on her back, and what we'll have her do is, I like to call it like the high dive above her head, have her bring her two hands together. Then we'll look at her fingertips. If one fingertip's a lot higher than the other fingertip, then what we assume is that the muscle called the iliopsoas muscle is tight. Now the iliopsoas muscle goes from the front of the lumbar, otherwise known as the lower back, to the top of your leg bone. And if this one's tight because your pelvis is rotated or your upper lumbars are misaligned, that will cause this muscle to get tight and again push against the backside of the womb. And as it pushes against the womb, it doesn't give the baby the room that the baby needs to move around. So what we'll do is we'll do a stretch for this one. And this is often one that when you come to see me, I'll ask you to bring somebody with you and I will teach this stretch to somebody else. We apply like a knife-like edge on our hand into right above where the leg is, and we'll move your leg around in different directions trying to access and stretch this one. It's one of the life's cruel tricks that in order to stretch this one, it's much easier if you're not pregnant. But of course you're pregnant, so it makes it tougher to stretch this one. But we found a way to do that. I've had many pregnant women just stop in my office during the day, ask me to stretch this muscle out for them, just to make their pregnancy go a little easier. The next step was finding the round ligament of the uterus. The round ligament of the uterus is the only ligament in the human anatomy to have smooth muscle on it. If it has smooth muscle in it, it could contract. And again, now we have a ligament that's contracting, squeezing on the womb, compressing the womb, not giving the baby the room the baby needs to physically flip over. So we'll find the round ligament of the uterus, and again, we'll apply another contact point to another, put pressure on there, pressure point, and we'll apply pressure there until we feel that ligament relax. The very last part, step 6 of the Webster technique, is a part I've never used. I learned this technique over 20 years ago when I first graduated chiropractic school, but I've never had to use this one. And it's not really so much for a breech baby. It's just more kind of a cool step that we've learned, that the pubic symphysis, where the two bones come together in the front, this can often have some pressure on there. And by creating a little pressure resistance against there, you can either stimulate contractions or you can stop premature contractions. Again, never done this one. I've studied it, I've taught it, I know how to do it. Never had to do it, thankfully. Now, so if you're pregnant or you have a breech baby and you like the chiropractor to check you out, that's fantastic. We can definitely do that. Now, in previous videos, I've always stated that we'd x-ray first. Well, being that the Webster technique is not a very aggressive adjustment, meaning that we're not gonna go really fast and do a quick high velocity, low amplitude thrust into your spine. We're doing mostly trigger points and stretches. This is one that we can do without an x-ray. Obviously, if we had an x-ray of you prior, it makes our job a lot easier and more efficient. But we can definitely take care of you without an x-ray. So if you're pregnant or you know somebody who is pregnant and they don't want to go to their chiropractor because they don't want to get x-rayed because they're pregnant, don't worry about that. When it comes to the Webster technique, we can get by without an x-ray. And most, not 99.9% of the time, you won't x-ray you when you're pregnant because you're pregnant. So that's kind of how that works. So if you have somebody who's pregnant, you know someone's pregnant, has a breech baby, let us know. If you are pregnant, what we do is we start the Webster technique the moment you tell us you're pregnant. Because as chiropractors, we talk a lot about prevention. Why have something and then fix it? Let's try to prevent problems. So the moment we find out you're pregnant, we start doing the Webster technique on you right away. Because why have a breech baby if we can avoid the situation from start to finish? Personally, I have flipped 21 of 22 babies, but I don't know how many babies weren't breeched because we don't wait till you're breeched anymore to start doing this. We wait to start the moment you're pregnant. So there could have been a lot more in there that would have been breeched. We'll never know the answer to that, nor does it really matter. So again, the Webster technique, you're more than welcome to look it up. It's just like it sounds, like Webster's Dictionary. Do a quick Google search for that. You'll find all kinds of cool facts and stats on it. I was taught by the ICPA. I got certified with them. And then I also do a little teaching on the side to my students that come in here. So if you have a question about this, let us know. Leave a message below. If you have a question about anything else chiropractic related, leave a message below and we'll get back to you. You can always go to my website at hulsebuschiropractic.com or otherwise rockforddc.com, ROCKFORDDC.com, and you can hit contact us there. Those messages will come straight to me. I'll take a look at your message, and maybe next time we do one of these videos, you'll be the question of the week. Other than that, have a great day and good to talk to you, and talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.